All right, I just wanted to really quickly cover this shooting that supposedly happened over in Colorado. It says gunman kills 5 at gay club, is subdued by patrons. A 22-year-old gunman opened fired with a semi-automatic rifle inside a gay nightclub in Colorado Springs. Now, we're just taking fake stream CIA infiltrated Operation Mockingbird MK Ultra Media's word at this point. We don't really know. They initially said it's a long gun, or they think it's a long gun. Now they're saying that it was a semi-automatic rifle inside the gay nightclub. So we don't really know what happened, because everything that we've learned about this, unless you got firsthand experience or you were actually in that nightclub and you saw what happened and you saw what kind of weapon was used, or if a guy even walked in there or not. And the bottom line on this is, it doesn't matter how it happened. It doesn't matter who did it, or if he was hired, or if he was some kind of agent of government or whatever. The bottom line is, we know how the Biden administration is going to treat this. We know how the state, local, and federal officials are going to deal with this. Oh my God, the scary black weapon, probably an AR-15 style rifle that only belongs on the battlefield, was used in this. We need more gun control. If we had more gun control. Yeah, like the solution to this is going to be, hey, you know what? We need a whole bunch of politicians to write a whole bunch more laws. That'll keep us safe. Says killing 5 people and leaving 25 injured before he was subdued by heroic patrons and arrested by police who arrived within minutes. Remember, when seconds count, police are minutes away. And I'm not going to take anything away from people who are going to subdue a gunman who's armed when they themselves are not armed. But do you think mainstream media played up the heroic actions of Elisha Dickin in the Greenwood Mall in Indiana? He took the gunman out within seconds of when the gunman started shooting. And he was 40 yards away. If I remember right, he was 40 yards away, shot 10 times with his Glock. I don't remember if it was a Glock 2240 caliber. I don't remember if he had a 9mm. I don't remember if he had a 45. But he shot 10 times and hit the assailant 8 times. And the guy turned around to hide in the bathroom and didn't make it. So within seconds, Elisha Dickin had the wherewithal to push his girlfriend to safety, rip off 10 shots 40 yards down the line, and hit his target 8 out of those 10 times. More effective, more efficient, quicker than law enforcement. And, hats off to these heroic patrons in this Club Q in Colorado for doing what they did. But I don't care if you're Usain Bolt. You can't cover that distance faster than an 1,100 foot per second or 1,400 foot per second bullet coming out of the barrel of a handgun. You just can't do it. And you will save more lives if you're armed. The precept is, it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. The suspect in the Saturday night shooting at Club Q used an AR-15. There it is. I didn't even read this article yet. AR-15 style semi-automatic weapon. If writing laws are going to keep you safe from semi-automatic firearms, then hey, just go for the whole shebang. Why don't you make every firearm illegal? Then we'll really be safe, right? I mean, how many times was a long rifle used? How many deaths did the use of a long rifle cause? Not the long rifle didn't cause it, but the use by an evil person caused a bunch of people to be injured and died. How many died by the use of a long rifle as opposed to how many died by use of a handgun? And then you tell me if they really care about people's safety. Why aren't they just going after the handguns? Brian, they'll start making laws for that. Hey, you know what? We shouldn't care. As free people, we should go, you know what? Make whatever law you want to. If you try to criminalize me, then you have done that which is criminal. You're the one that stepped over the line of immorality, not me. I've got a firearm for my own reasons, whether it's protection or hunting or just sport shooting or whatever. It's none of your business. If you want to own something and you're not a criminal and you're not going to do evil things, it's none of anybody's business why you got what you got. Or if you have it at all. Maybe you lost it in that boating accident like we all did. So it's an AR-15 style semi-automatic weapon, a law enforcement official said. The handgun and additional ammunition magazines were also recovered, according to the official, who could not discuss the details. And then I saw the police chief who spoke on the Counterfeit News Network, and he said, yeah, what we teach people to do, we teach them to run hide, or if you have to, fight.
In the security world, particularly this is usually relegated more towards like schools, where we teach the run, hide, fight methodology. So if an active gunman, if there's an active shooter that comes in, you would ideally run away from the shooter. You would attempt to hide from the shooter until authorities arrive. But if confronted directly and there's nowhere else to go, then your next best option is to try to fight the shooter, to disarm or disable them temporarily, to interrupt their ability to continue shooting.
Why not teach them to be empowered? You want women to be empowered, don't you? I want white people, black people, women, gays, trans. I want everybody to be able to protect themselves by whatever means they have to, so that they're not sitting there with just a phone in their hand dialing 911 when there's seconds left for you to live. I want everybody to be empowered. I want everybody to be protected. And truly, if you don't need it, you don't need it. But if you do need it, you got it. It's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. This idea of run, hide, and fight if you have to, why not just go, you know what? I am fully trained so that if something goes down, I think I pretty much know what I need to do. And then what if 10 other people are in the room doing that? And now I understand you could get to the point where you got 20 or 30 people who are shooting all in the same direction and there could be a lack of safety. But I'd rather have that than me hiding under a desk, quivering, hoping that I'm going to make it home and being unarmed. Because my legislators unarmed me. It's like that Greta Hupp. What's her name? I don't know, back in the 1980s when she was in that Luby's restaurant in Killeen, Texas with her mom and dad. And that guy, what was his name? Hernard, drove in there with his Ford Ranger, just crashed through the front window, he got out of the cab, just started shooting people. I think it was like 26 people died that day. 2 of those were Greta's, I think her name's Greta. I can't remember. I don't know. I think that's her name. But she walked out of the Luby's restaurant, but her parents didn't. And she sat in front of the legislators and said, you know what? When that guy hopped out of his truck, I thought, you know what? I got him. I'm going to grab the gun out of my purse. I'm going to, aim center mass, and I'm going to take care of him. And then I remembered, she said to Congress, my legislators legislated me out of my Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms. I couldn't protect myself. I couldn't protect my mom and dad.
A couple of years ago, my parents and I went to a cafeteria in Texas on a bright sunny day. We weren't in a dark alley where we weren't supposed to be. And as you all know the story, this madman drove his truck through the window. And he began shooting. Well, immediately, my father and I got down on the floor and put the table up in front of us. And this guy kept shooting. And you're thinking, what could it be? Is it a robbery? That's the first thing that generally comes to mind. And he keeps shooting. It took me a good 45 seconds to realize that this man wasn't there to commit a robbery. He wasn't there for a hit. He was there to simply shoot as many people as he possibly could. Now, I'd like to make something clear. I hear all this talk about how many bullets can go in a clip. I've been there. I can tell you it doesn't matter. It takes 1 second to switch out a clip. You can have 1 bullet or 100 bullets. It doesn't matter, guys. I've been there. He goes, dump, dump. Just like that. That's not enough time to rush a man. I promise you. When I finally realized what was occurring, I thought, I got him. And I reached for my purse. He was maybe 12 feet away. Is it possible my gun could have jammed? Sure. Is it possible I could have missed? Sure. But I can tell you I've hit much smaller targets at much greater distances. But then I realized that a couple of months earlier I had made the stupidest decision of my life. I took my gun out of my purse and left it in my car. Because as you well know, in the state of Texas, it's sometimes a felony offense to carry a gun in your purse. I can tell you that I'm not mad at the guy that did this. As he continued, it was obvious that he was a madman. My father, at that point, said, I've got to do something. I've got to do something. He's going to kill everybody in here, and he rushed the man. No way. This guy turned, shot him in the chest. He went down, was obviously mortally wounded. For whatever reason, that made the man change directions and go off to my left. Shortly thereafter, someone at the back of the restaurant broke out a window. When I saw what looked like an opportunity to escape, I turned around and I grabbed my mother by the shirt and I said, come on, we've got to run, we've got to get out of here. And then my feet grew wings and I was out the back window. As soon as I got out, I realized that my mother had not followed me out. And as I learned from the police officers, she had crawled over to where my father was and cradled him until the guy got back around to her, put the gun to her head. She looked up at him, put her head down, and he pulled the trigger. My parents had just had their 47th wedding anniversary. She wasn't going anywhere.
So guys, it's better to have it, not need it, than need it, not have it. And it's tragic what happened. If this is truly what happened, the way they're reporting, hats off to the heroes for stopping the gunman. But wouldn't it have been better if they had a firearm themselves so they could cover whatever distance they needed to cover with a bullet rather than their bodies and take that guy out? Because now the guy's caught. Now the guy's going to go to trial. And now, he's probably going to spend the rest of his life in prison. So the American tax cattle are going to be paying for 3 hots and a cot, library, internet, Playboy, for this guy to be housed in some penitentiary somewhere for the rest of his life. Just like they're doing in Wisconsin with Darrell Brooks. I don't know. Leave your thoughts about this for the world and the global thought police in the comment section below. If I missed something, let me know. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe to this channel, hit the bell notification icon, give it a thumbs up, share it with everybody you know, and I will see you guys in the next heavily censored shadow ban video.